You and I are both fans of Douglas Rushkoff's work, who's
Oh
sort of
yes, for
been
sure.
trying to
Team
voice
Human.
that as, yeah, team human. So I think, what Rushkoff has been really like railing about on the internet about, what we ought to be doing and how the economics of digital culture is being co-opted by, the digital culture is being co-opted by a capitalist economic system. So,
Sure, sure.
so yeah, and the point is to come back to planetization is it doesn't seem that the top down modernist approach, the trajectory that Bruno Latour talks about is out of this world, is really effective. So
Yeah.
let's try something different. And I think that's really the only way it's going to end up working, is that we can relate to each other in a global context when we have roots in the ground, when sometimes
Mm.
quite literally,
Yeah.
right?
Oh
If we
no,
are
that
working in a
grounding.
if we
Yep.
are working in a bioregion, understanding our part or our role to play in the planetary dynamics of the Gaian homeostasis,
Yep.
that we are in a much better position to reach out in the global context
Yep.
and share those notes and
Yep.
recognize how we're part of the whole. So I think, yeah, it is this sort of terrestrial earthbound orientation, which actually helps us become planetary. Or when I talk about this, I haven't written about it in any books yet, but the distinction between globalization and planetization is just a
Mm.
sort of a helpful umbrella term. When we're talking about planetization, we're talking more about along the lines of what you're discussing
Yep.
with
Yep.
systems and design and technology, and really thinking about how all this impacts everything. And then also going more local, going more bioregional, and then reaching back out to the planetary from there as a
Yep.
healthier starting place.
Yep.
And I think that's the core theme. If I were to cohere many different thinkers, those
Right.
are the ones that I'm most interested in listening to.
Well, would you call yourself as Jason Snyder and I think Ashley from Rizoma School call a doomer optimist? Are you a doomer optimist? Do you
uh,
label yourself that, or any other labels that you like to put on yourself
I
in dealing with that?
I've been playfully trying on Doomer Optimist
Yeah.
recently, just because, and you've probably seen this in Sean Kelly's book,
Mm-hmm.
Becoming Gaia, which is mostly it's a fantastic philosophical book about the ethics, the Gaian imperative, and but then also it explores dealing with the reality if we were to take seriously the like researchers like Jem Bendell and the recent climate reports that have been coming out. Things are looking pretty bad in terms
Oh
of
yeah.
the window of opportunity to do something collectively, and what is going to happen if we don't. And it seems
Yep.
like we're not really going to do enough in time to avoid some really difficult situations around the planet. And
Yep.
we're already seeing it this year as we're recording, right, with the heat wave in the Southwest and the
Absolutely.
Pacific Northwest. And one of the doomer optimist jokes going around right now is, we'll look on the bright side. At least this is the coolest summer you're going to have in the next few years.
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
so
There is always a way
I,
to good look at it, but then there's some really messed up stuff that if
yeah,
we could get and again, like one of the biggest things that like Aaron, going back to Aaron Schwartz, one of the things that got him motivated in things is like he said when he started looking into things, and this is kind of my own story as being a journalist, is you start looking into these things and then it's like, well, not only could they change, they should change. Like so much of the world needs to change. And it's not like me trying to sit on a high horse or a pedestal saying this. It's like, no. Like this is like the culmination of all those, updated operating manual for spaceship Earth. Everything is bubbling up saying that this is not heading in the right direction. And if
right.
we don't listen, we're going to be, one of those ecological or evolutionary, dead ends or footprints, and then something in 1,000 million years is going to be really interesting from how we became interesting from shrews or something like when the dinosaurs went out. But yeah, it's very interesting to see how we have an interesting unique outlook, but it's really based on your own priors. I think that me being a journalist, like I had really learned that like your own biases cloud your judgment. And like one of the things about reading or writing my own the book Tripping Over the Truth is like we all have our own cultural dynamics. Me growing up in the South is specific to growing up in the southern United Southeastern United States, and not the same everywhere else.